Bugsy Siegel, the gangster who built Las Vegas. He was charming, violent, and visionary. Benjamin Bugsy Siegel didn't just kill for the mob, he built something. Las Vegas might never have existed without him, but in the shadows of the Flamingo Hotel, betrayal was always watching. They called him Bugsy, not to his face unless you wanted your teeth rearranged. Born Benjamin Siegel in Brooklyn, 1906, he wasn't born into power, he took it, with charm, fists, and bullets. By his teens, he was running with Meyer Lansky, hustling pushcarts, robbing warehouses, and building what would become the national crime syndicate. Bugsy had looks, he had ambition, but most of all, he had no fear. He once said, "I'd rather be rich and dead than poor and alive." That wasn't just talk, that was prophecy. By his 20s, he had muscle in New York. By his 30s, he was rubbing shoulders with Hollywood stars in Los Angeles. And by his 40s, he had a vision, a place in the desert where money, vice, and neon dreams could run wild. But dreams cost money, and mob money always comes with interest. Bugsy Siegel wasn't just muscle anymore. He was a celebrity gangster. By the 1930s, he moved west, setting up shop in Los Angeles. Hollywood loved him. He partied with actors, dated starlets, and dined with producers. To them, he was exotic, a real-life outlaw in a world of actors pretending to be tough. But beneath the tailored suits and movie-set smiles, Bugsy was still running rackets, narcotics, gambling, extortion. He opened the Continental Press, a wire service used to control betting lines across the country. He wasn't playing small ball anymore. He was shaping national crime. Then came the trip that changed everything. Nevada. The desert was empty. Barren, just dust and heat, but Bugsy saw more. He saw potential. Where others saw sand, he saw Las Vegas, a paradise of vice, a place where liquor, women, and money flowed without rules, just risk and reward. He pitched the Flamingo Hotel to the mob like a movie deal. Luxury suites, poker tables, showgirls, and high rollers flying in from all over the country. It was perfect on paper. The problem? Bugsy wasn't a businessman. He was a dreamer. And dreamers in the mob world don't get second chances. The Flamingo Gamble. When the Flamingo Hotel opened in 1946, Bugsy thought he was untouchable. It was supposed to be his legacy. He promised luxury, glamour, a place where the rich would drop millions under desert skies. But from day one, it was a disaster. The air conditioning failed, the plumbing leaked, half the rooms weren't finished. And worst of all, the gamblers didn't come. Not yet. Bugsy had spent over $6 million, way more than the mob approved. They started whispering, "Where's the money going?" Some thought he was skimming, others thought he was just reckless. He blamed the contractors, the weather, the timing, but excuses don't work in the Mafia. They wanted results, and they wanted returns. Enemies in every corner. By early 1947, Bugsy was being watched. Not just by the FBI, by his own friends. The syndicate had invested big in the Flamingo. Lansky, Luciano, and the rest of the top brass were growing tired. Meyer Lansky had defended him again and again, but even he was losing faith. Bugsy's behavior was erratic. He was paranoid, short-tempered, constantly changing plans. And Virginia Hill, his girlfriend, wasn't helping. She had a fiery temper, wild spending habits, and rumors swirled that she'd been moving money overseas. Some say she was part of the reason the syndicate made their decision. Some say she helped seal Bugsy's fate. The final hit, June 20th, 1947, Beverly Hills. Bugsy Siegel was relaxing at Virginia Hill's house. He sat on the sofa, reading the Los Angeles Times. He never saw it coming. 9 bullets blasted through the window. 2 hit him in the head. The rest tore through his body. No warning, no conversation, just execution. At that exact same moment, same night, the mob walked into the Flamingo in Vegas and took full control. Not one hesitation. No one was arrested. No one was charged. The murder was clean, silent, and never solved. Bugsy was gone. The Flamingo thrived. and Las Vegas became exactly what he dreamed it would be, just without him in it. The legacy left behind. Bugsy's death wasn't just another mob hit. It marked the end of an era and the birth of something bigger. The Flamingo, under new leadership, exploded with success. Gamblers came, celebrities came, the money flowed. But no one dared speak Bugsy's name. His dream became a monument, but his memory erased. The mob had claimed the throne he built and buried the builder. Yet to this day, many still say, without Bugsy Siegel, there would be no Las Vegas. Bugsy the man versus Bugsy the myth. Was he a visionary, a killer, a fool? Maybe all three. Bugsy wasn't like the other gangsters. He wanted more than rackets and power. He wanted to create something. He saw Vegas not as a job, but a legacy. But the mob doesn't care about dreams. They care about numbers, loyalty, and control. He had too many enemies. He spent too much. And when the math didn't add up, they pulled the plug. Still, Hollywood never let go of him. Books, movies, documentaries, they turned him into legend. But legends don't protect you from bullets. The Flamingo stands, but the ghost remains. Today, the Flamingo Hotel still stands on the Vegas Strip. The lights are bright, the slots are loud, but if you listen closely, the past whispers through the walls. Tourists walk by without knowing the blood that built those floors. No plaque, no statue, no tribute to the man who made it possible. But some say, late at night in the suite Bugsy once designed, the lights flicker, the air goes cold, and for a second, you feel like someone's watching. Bugsy Siegel may be gone, but Vegas never forgot him. Not really. Loose ends and theories. Bugsy's murder was never solved, but everyone had a theory. Some blamed Meyer Lansky, his oldest friend turned silent judge. Some said it was Lucky Luciano, watching from exile, pulling strings. Others believed it wasn't the Mafia at all, but someone closer. Virginia Hill, the woman he loved, the woman who vanished to Europe days before the hit. FBI files pointed fingers. Mob insiders said nothing. In the end, the silence was louder than any confession. That's how the Mafia works. No courtrooms, no closure. The cost of ambition. Bugsy Siegel had everything. Money, women, fame. But he wanted more. He wanted history. He tried to mix the underworld with ambition. But ambition doesn't forgive mistakes. Not when the cost is millions. And the investors carry guns. In the Mafia, loyalty buys you time. Results buy you protection. But even a visionary like Bugsy couldn't buy both. He played a dangerous game and lost. The ghost of Las Vegas. He was flashy, he was reckless, he was brilliant. Bugsy Siegel left behind more than stories. He left behind a blueprint. Vegas became the empire he imagined, but it was built on his bones. His grave in Los Angeles is simple. No gold, no neon, just stone and silence. But the city he helped build still shines. Every jackpot, every showgirl, every neon sign is a piece of his dream and his downfall. This was the story of Bugsy Siegel, a gangster who tried to become a king, but forgot the crown comes with a target. The casino blueprint. Long before the corporations, the billion-dollar hotels, and the Vegas Strip as we know it, there was just an idea. Bugsy Siegel was the first to truly see Las Vegas as a luxury empire. Not just a pit stop for gamblers, but a city of fantasy. A place where people could escape their lives and pretend to be rich, free, and untouchable. He brought architects, decorators, and designers from Hollywood. He demanded gold fixtures, silk curtains, imported tiles from Italy. He didn't just want gamblers, he wanted movie stars and millionaires. But the mob didn't understand luxury. They understood profit. Every delay, every new cost made them nervous. What Bugsy saw as investment, they saw as theft. He thought he could change how the Mafia operated, elevated. But in the end, he forgot one rule. You don't change the mob changes you. Friendship has a price. Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel were like brothers. They'd hustled on the same corners as kids, grown their empire together, and built the syndicate brick by brick. Lansky was the brains, Bugsy was the muscle, and together they were unstoppable. But as Vegas burned through cash, that bond began to crack. Lansky defended Bugsy for months, stalled the other bosses, made excuses, but even he had limits. Some say Lansky gave the final nod, others say he just stepped aside. Maybe the hardest part wasn't killing Bugsy. It was watching your best friend dig his own grave and not being able to stop him. Because in the Mafia, emotion is weakness, and weakness gets you killed. The Flamingo's first jackpot. After Bugsy's murder, the Flamingo should have collapsed. Instead, it exploded. Within months, it was pulling in profits. Tourists were flooding in. What Bugsy built, they now controlled. New managers took over. Every penny accounted for. The mob had their casino, their cover, their crown jewel. They erased Bugsy from the story, but they kept his blueprint. Entertainment plus gambling plus glamour equals Vegas. And every mobster from New York to Kansas City wanted in. Soon other casinos followed. The Sahara, the Sands, the Tropicana. Vegas became a gold mine, and it all started with a dreamer who died on a couch in Beverly Hills. Hollywood and headlines. Bugsy didn't just live in Los Angeles, he owned it. He walked through Beverly Hills like a star. He knew producers, actors, studio heads. They admired him, feared him, envied him. He dressed like a movie icon, tailored suits, silk ties, always clean-shaven. He made the headlines not for crimes, but for style. The press called him handsome, bold, even elegant. But beneath the charm was a killer with a temper like TNT. There were whispers, beatings in back alleys, bribes to cops, silent hits no one ever solved. But to the public, Bugsy was the gangster with class. He didn't just want power, he wanted immortality. The secret network. Behind the flashbulbs and red carpets, Bugsy was running a secret network. Illegal gambling houses across California, drug shipments slipping through the docks, bribes paid to police chiefs and judges. He made Los Angeles a mob playground, hidden under Hollywood's golden glow. But with every move, he made new enemies. Local bosses didn't like his rise, politicians wanted him gone, and the East Coast syndicate started to question. Was Bugsy still working for the family, or just for himself? The trust he had built was eroding piece by piece. And in the Mafia, when the trust goes, you don't get a warning, you get a bullet. The calm before the execution. In his final weeks, Bugsy acted like nothing was wrong. He dined out, smiled for photos, talked about expanding the Flamingo even more. But behind closed doors, he was tense, angry, paranoid. He argued with Virginia Hill. He barked at his men. He barely slept. The syndicate had stopped calling. Lansky had gone silent. And deep down, maybe Bugsy knew. But he wasn't the type to run. He faced the end like he faced life. Head up, defiant, sharp-dressed to the last second. The Flamingo lights were still on. The dream was still alive. But the man who built it had run out of time. Control over chaos. Bugsy Siegel wasn't just building a casino, he was trying to control chaos. He wanted perfection in a world ruled by violence and greed. Everything had to be just right. The marble imported from Italy, the chandeliers flown in from France. Even the pink flamingo statues were his idea. But every delay, every cost increase made the bosses angrier. They didn't understand Bugsy's obsession with detail. They just saw millions disappearing. He tried to calm them, promised the payoff was coming. But in the Mafia, there's no patience for visionaries, only results. And Bugsy's dream was turning into a debt, the death sentence nobody said. There was no meeting, no formal decision, just a quiet agreement among men who'd known each other for decades. Bugsy Siegel was out of control. He was risking too much, speaking too loudly, spending without permission. The bosses didn't need proof. They needed profit. So they sent word, through whispers, signals, glances, no names, no signatures. A hit was approved, without a single word spoken. That's how the mob works. No emotion, no ceremony, just the end of a man who forgot the rules. The price of building a kingdom. Bugsy Siegel didn't just gamble with cards or dice, he gambled with the future. He built something no one else dared to imagine. A kingdom in the desert, born from violence, obsession, and style. He tried to play two games at once, mobster and visionary, executioner and architect. But in the end, only one side wins. Bugsy left behind no heirs, no farewell, just a trail of blood and a city that never sleeps. They erased his name from the books, but every neon sign still flickers with his shadow. Vegas didn't kill Bugsy. The mob didn't kill Bugsy. His own dream did. Thanks for watching. Criminal Code, new episodes every week. Like, comment, subscribe. They shot the dreamer, but the dream lived on